Hey guys, how's it going? Day 3 of my week of daily uploads on my first week of my sobriety journey, hopefully for a while. Um, and today, hopefully it sounds a little better because I got my nice mic out for this one. Um, yeah, today I want to talk about failure and feeling like a failure. Um, I've been feeling that a lot recently, as I've mentioned in my previous videos. My relationship of 14 years is ending. um 13 years, I think. Yeah, 13. um and we're selling a house. The house was built in the 1840s, so there's a lot of holes. And it's funny, there is kind of a thematic through line between this hole back here, the hole above it. They all got patched today. We hired a handyman and we paid him, we're probably going to wind up paying him about $1,000, and they came through and they patched all these holes that I've been living with since we moved in 2022. Um, which is just too funny thematically, right? Because it's like $1,000 could have fixed these holes years ago, and I decided to live with them. Bats came in. I had to chase multiple bats out of this house, um, because they just crawled through the holes, made their way into the home. Um, but I never wanted to, and I never got around to it because I was like, oh, that seems like a lot of work. I'd rather just sit here and live with it than go through the process of patching them up. There was one on the ceiling. I can see it. You guys can't. Um, and it's so the solutions when you get to them are tend to be like shockingly simple and easier than you're expecting, right? I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And of course, we only do it after the relationship's over, right? After it's kind of ruined in large part by alcohol, in terms of we're just getting it ready for someone else, and that's such a weird feeling. Like we're finally patching up the holes. Um, the handymen are gone. Here I am, kind of sitting on a desk that's covered in plaster and drywall and all this garbage. Um, and it's hard to not feel like a failure. Hard to feel like that. The relationship wasn't a waste of time. Um, which in my brain, I know it wasn't. I really don't think that's the case, but it's hard. It's really hard. Knowing that my life's going to be completely different now, and um, feeling like a failure is definitely one of the reasons I liked to drink, just to get rid of that feeling. Um, Thinking, well, at least we can get rid of that feeling for one night. Maybe the relationship's going under. Maybe you're not doing the work in your relationship to kind of, maybe the facade is nice, but like the bones are not so good. You're not communicating what you need to. That was a big issue in my relationship. Uh, and one of those things I didn't talk about was how much alcohol, both her and my consumption, was just affecting the relationship. Um, and yeah, and now I'm moving back in with my parents. 34 years old, can't afford a place on my own. Me and my partner kind of split the mortgage. And yeah, of course, I don't, I'm not like a crab in a bucket trying to pull people down, but my friends are getting married, having kids, buying houses, doing all this shit. And I'm just here. I feel like I've taken such a massive step backward. And it's hard to keep convincing myself that, this will be worth it. It's kind of like, what if I just like went back into that relationship and was okay and like kind of smoothed over the cracks like I have been for, the past year or two when things have gotten a little worse, when I wasn't communicating enough. And I feel the same way about alcohol. It's like, it'd be so easy to smooth over the cracks with alcohol while the foundation rots. to really just go day by day, and day to day things are okay to fine, when really things are just getting worse and worse on the inside. um and then you look up and you know you're always jealous, whether I made this move or I didn't, right? If my relationship stayed on that steady state of kind of like dissatisfaction and alcohol and dishonesty, that wouldn't have been good. Would I have considered myself less of a failure then? In the long run, of course not. But look at me. I'm supposed to be yapping about alcohol, not my relationship. But this is my video, damn it. Click off. Get out of here. uh you'll see a lot of self-defense using humor in my videos as well. But yeah, so not much to say besides that, other than you're not a failure, Just because I'm surrounded by discarded building materials in the middle of a house that is recently patched up with holes, still, needs some wallpaper or whatnot. That's okay, It really is okay. And there are people that would kill to be in my position, right? It's one of those classic things, like I wouldn't trade my shit for your shit, So it's just weird being jealous and being sad and really feeling like I'm going backwards. But I think this is good. I think kind of the alcohol was the rot at the core of everything. So if I'm able to kind of chill out on that, maybe I can move forward from a more healthy place. That's the hope. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about anything. I don't know. Yeah. I hope you guys don't feel like failures, It's not a good feeling, and none of us deserve that. Doesn't help getting out of addiction at all. So, and you know what? We've all got something to contribute, right? I am the dad to this dumbass. His name is Shimmy. Hi, Shimmy. Ah! I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.